I'm Taylor Dumas, and this is presentation number 3. I will be doing this presentation on Cynthia Cooper, the famous whistleblower. So I'll start my presentation with the story of Cynthia Cooper. She was such an incredible, moral, courageous woman. She was known to be quiet, but very strong-willed. She was an internal auditor for WorldCom. She supervised over 24 people. And the way that her whistleblowing story started was with one discovery of a journal entry. It discovered a lot of expenses that were misallocated. Mr. Morse was the one who found this journal entry, and he took it to Cynthia Cooper, and she said, keep digging because we need evidence. And so this is where it all began. There were 3 auditors, Cynthia Cooper, and then Mr. Smith and Mr. Morris. They did an investigation for a little under 2 months, and they went to great lengths to try and figure out what was going on, and they'd have to come in the middle of the night because the server would crash and all this other stuff. They ended up discovering $3.8 billion of misallocated expenses. This large of a discovery of misallocated expenses would obviously lead to bankruptcy. So that's what happened to WorldCom. In the 6th edition, in Chapter 4 of Managing Business Ethics by Trevino and Nelson, it talks about 7 ways to blow the whistle. In this slide, I will kind of compare and analyze how Cynthia Cooper used these 7 steps to blow the whistle. The first step that they suggest is take it to your immediate manager, and that is exactly what Cynthia Cooper did. She took it to Mr. Sullivan. Second step, discuss things with your family. Cynthia Cooper confided in her parents. They helped her along the way. The third step would be to take it to the next level. What Cynthia Cooper did was she took it to a board meeting with Max Bobbitt, and Mr. Sullivan was there as well. It didn't go as well. Mr. Sullivan backed down. Fourth step, contact the ethical officer in your company. In the article, they never discussed any ethical officer, and I'm not sure if they had one at this time. Fifth step, consider going outside of the chain of command. Cynthia did this, but it was hard because all the top executives were involved in this scandal. Sixth step, go outside of your company. Cynthia Cooper contacted Arthur Andersen, the outside auditor, and they just brushed her off. The last step would be to leave the company. This would be hard for Cynthia because if she left the company, she would have no access to any of the files. This would be a problem because she would not be able to investigate anymore, allowing all the fraud to continue. According to Joseph L. Barroco, Jr., in his article, We Don't Need Another Hero, there are 4 ways of dealing with tough ethical situations. These 4 are picking your battles, bending the rules, not breaking them, compromise, and putting it off till tomorrow. Putting things off till tomorrow kind of explains things like when you're in the heat of the moment and you make irrational decisions or you blame it on someone or something like that, you should put it off till tomorrow so you don't make those foolish decisions. Cynthia Cooper did this very well. Instead of when she found the first transaction, she could have blown it up and made a huge deal about everything, but she kept digging and she made for certain that she had something and had a fraud before she took it up the chain and went through with all of that. I would say this is probably one of the biggest reasons that she was able to find all of this fraud, because if she would have made a huge deal about everything, they would have covered it up or they would have fired her. Picking your battles is like sweating the small stuff. You can't get very upset or make a big deal about everything. You have to let things roll off until your time comes and you pick your battle. Cynthia Cooper did this very well. She was quiet but strong-willed, which told us that when the time came, she would come forward and pick her battle and go for it. And that's exactly what she did in the downturn of WorldCom. The team and Cynthia Cooper really had to bend the rules to keep the investigation alive. They had to come in the middle of the night so they wouldn't crash the server, and they had to urge on when their supervisor told them to quit. In the aspect of compromise, I don't think Cynthia Cooper really went this route. I think she was strong-willed and she pushed forward and was not willing to compromise with any of her supervisors because she knew that they were committing fraud. This just comes to show you that in every ethical situation, you're not going to need all 7 steps or use all 4 guidelines. You will have to take your situation one step and one day at a time and figure it out and use these as guidelines. Hope you enjoyed this story of Cynthia Cooper and all the information along with it. Thank you.